We had hoped to be joined this evening by Dennis White, President and CEO of MetLife Foundation. Unfortunately, due to a family emergency, he regretfully had to cancel at the last minute. That means I get the honor of standing in for Dennis and the great work of MetLife Foundation, which has devoted significant resources to bringing financial knowledge, tools, and support to underserved communities both domestically and abroad. They are the proud sponsors of the inaugural Purpose Prize for Financial Inclusion being presented to Mauricio Lim Miller, founder of Family Independence Initiative, which combats stereotypes about poverty by using established social relationships and peer networks to save money, to improve home ownership, to keep kids in school, and to provide for a better future. Mauricio's work embodies MetLife's commitment to ensuring low-income individuals and families gain access to safe and affordable financial services, and it does so with cultural sensitivity and grace. Mauricio knows what it means to climb up out of poverty, and he's created the means for others to make the same climb. Let's pause and watch this film about his work.
I ran social services for 20 years, and the system is set up that as you work and you do better, the resources go away. As I was getting older, that contradiction just didn't sit right with me. My parents were living in Mexico, and my mother decided that to have a better life, that you had to come to America, and if you worked hard, you'd get the American dream. My mother sacrificed everything so that I could get into college. She worked 2 jobs, and like so many people that come to work really hard, nobody would invest in her. Nobody would trust her. I provided social services and tried to help people like my family for 20 years. All that existed was a social service program that was patronizing. My mother would never accepted that kind of help. The mayor of Oakland, who is now the governor of California, Jerry Brown, called me up and said, if you could do anything you wanted to do and you really wanted to have an impact on poverty, what would you do? I realized I didn't know what to do, but my mother figured out what to do to get me out. And for that fact, I think most mothers, fathers, guardians would have a better idea how to get their own families out. So I started the Family Independence Initiative. I started collecting data from hundreds of families and found out maybe my mother's not so unique. This initiative was set up to really find out what the capacity was of families to actually help themselves, and would they be willing to help each other.
What Mauricio is saying is, I believe in the track record of these families, and I'm going to invest small amounts of capital that they'll deploy according to their own sense. And then he's just tracking the data to see how they make those investments.
One thing I like about it, he's not doing nothing for you, but he's showing you you can do this all by yourself. We're just providing you the resources to do so. Everything that I've wanted to do, I've always just sat back thinking about it. Mauricio has literally made me jump. Yes, this is very good and healthy, Vanya. You did such a great job with that cookie.
For me, the biggest transformation has been to really step back and just be supportive or helpful and encouraging of what other people do.
I just want to say thank you for your vision, because it definitely has encouraged me to keep doing what I'm doing.
The power of change is embedded in these communities. For us, it really is, can you make visible what nobody sees?
Watching your ideas and what you do, that's what inspires me, so thank you.
I am Mauricio Lim Miller, and this is my encore.
On behalf of, I don't want to interrupt the applause, carry on. No, on behalf of MetLife Foundation, please welcome the 2014 Purpose Prize for Financial Inclusion winner, Mauricio Lim Miller.
Okay, thank you so much. Seriously, I want to thank people at Encore, the board, the staff, the folks at MetLife. All of that means a lot to me, except it is very strange to be up here receiving this award. As you heard in there, that I don't actually do anything. The magic is that I don't. It's like, maybe it's that I believe in those folks because they're like my folks. It was like my family. My mother was Mexican, female, third grade education, came up here to work really hard, build a better life. And somewhat like Kate explained, nobody wants to really be defined by their deficits, and she didn't want to be defined by her deficits. And the families that you saw, and the families in our neighborhoods and communities, we have a charitable system that asks them to define themselves in terms of their deficits so that we can help them. And that just isn't good, it isn't right, it isn't the way it really is. And what you find and what you see when you start actually looking at people through a very different lens is that they have that capacity to do it. Obviously, in our history, we've done all of that before there were any programs. And so for us, it was really, and actually with the help of Jerry Brown, is to find out what would people do if I fired all my social workers, because at one point I had 120 of them. So we fired everybody, and we asked the families, what would you do? Just what Jerry had asked me, what would I do? I asked the families, what would you do? And income started jumping 27%. Communities started coming together, and you would not believe how much they help one another. And when there isn't anything else, they will help one another. Much more, all these stereotypes are totally wrong. And so it is very strange to then get this award when those folks should be getting this award. But I'm going to take it, but I'm going to take it for something else. I'm going to take it to honor my mother's struggle to get my life together. Our life did not go so well coming to America from actually Nogales, which is just south of here. And my sister's life did not go well. My mother didn't come to America to lose both of her children, and so she concentrated on me. She gave up everything, including her health, to make sure one of her kids would succeed, and she got me into and through UC Berkeley as an engineer. And I was told to be an engineer. I was a bad engineer, but like, with a mother like this, you do what you're told, right? So I did become an engineer and entered a different world. I was now in a position to help my sister and her 3 kids, which is what my mother had wanted. My mother by this time had become pretty ill. She really had given up health care and everything to save for me going to college. And so at that point then, what I wanted to do was to get her the operations that she needed and get her the place that she wanted. And she was over there, no, that's not what I gave up my health for. You know, your role is to take care of your sister, her kids, and not let what happened to our family happen to anybody else. And so she and I would have these big arguments, and finally she stopped arguing. And so then I started going through my plans in terms of what I was going to do for her. And about 3 weeks before I was going to spend some money on her, she went to Las Vegas and she took her own life. She had planned this probably since she stopped arguing with me. And so I was a little traumatized, Dr. Cantor, but I knew what she had asked of me. And so while she had wanted me to become a designer, which is what I wanted, instead I joined the War on Poverty. You saw what happened. I realized that my mother would not go through my programs. They were too patronizing. It would take her pride away, is what she would say. And so really what I have done is just to step back and realize that the families that we all care about, especially the ones that are not in crisis, really can do it themselves. And our role is step back and just be there, you know, and validate what their strengths really are. So I will accept the award, but I will accept it in honor of my mother. So thank you. Thank you, Mom.